it wasn't good. I always had in my mind much better water than the kind of cellular automation stuff that we had, but I never got around to it. It was complicated. It was hard. So what to do? Oh, look at that! It's my brand new keyboard, and I've gone and got yogurt on it. Right. What to do? To move to puzzler. So bugs to fix and improvements. Ugh. And new features. So what bugs were there to fix? Well, actually, I don't really know. You could argue slow meshing was actually bad enough. I'd class it as a bug. I kind of would, but going to the let's look at the Trello. Oh gosh, okay. I don't want to look at the Trello. Short term, load multiple rooms. Oh, I did that. Update landscape generation, rotating moving blocks, add key modifiers to tidy up the compression of packets for ACNet. Try not to recompress already compressed data. Move to use ACNet strings. Hurrah. Foci now use XYZ inside chunk to determine distance to neighbours. Okay. Switch from Lua string to Lua check string. Okay. Switch from memcopy to standard copy. Yep. Switch to frame of reference instead of check ID. I thought I did that. Authoritative server. I didn't do that. Set master update. Gosh, how old was this? This was 9th of June. Yeah. Wow. Let's get rid of that and let's pretend it doesn't exist. No, I mean I'll use the data there, but they're in terms of bigger features and things that would be a gentle reintroduction of the code. It's like it to a large degree. It's like I'm starting a new job, right? And I need help to get familiar with a new code base because that's kind of what it is. And this is obviously one of those moments where, you know, if you're not familiar with writing fairly large code base or even small ones, right? Whatever, coming back to it, how do you help yourself refamiliarize? And this is all based on, you know, there are better and worse ways of structuring your code and using different design patterns amongst other things, but things that are familiar, common language, self-documenting code. Because if it's not you coming to rejoin your code after an absence, it's other people joining your team, right? So I remember a long stream working with chunk IDs. Yes, yes, that's correct. Did shell command execution in world names on Linux get fixed? Oops, I don't remember that one. Don't remember that. What was... yeah, I don't remember that one. I worked on my engine for a solid month and commits were regular. That was in like October last year. I'm scared to go back to it now, yeah. It's shelled out to do makedir and appended the world name without filtering. Yeah. Did it do that? It may have done. Maybe I've got the biggest dodgy piece of software ever. Right, if we don't see Cookie again, we know that he succeeded. Right, I'm slouching. Doesn't look good. I am not handsome anymore. Slow meshing. Bugs to fix. I'm not really sure about other bugs, actually. So, I mean, like, again, Tiny Galaxy as a representation is actually pretty good. Feralbob, hi Rob, from a fellow former, that wasn't even a tongue twister, a fellow former Yarozer. Oh, hello there. Well, do tell Feralbob. Tell us about what games. Who are you? Will I remember you? New features, Lua debugger. Oh yes. Oh, thank you very much, Jaboko. He wants to ride high on that £1 donation. He's doing well. Thank you very much. Create a world with a name A and RMRF. I don't remember that bug. No one. Whatever. I probably was told it and then just like embarrassing. Come on, feralbob. I'm curious. I'm interested. Right, yeah. So what do I need to do? So, right. Better collision. So, what's the rationale behind this? Okay, so new features. What do I want to get into the game? Same idea as Tiny Galaxy, except to create a smaller rounded ship that can actually move anywhere and rotate and stuff. So the way so in Tiny Galaxy currently you move your ship and it's a square ship and there's no barriers, and wherever you park you can go next to you can jump onto the world that you're next to. It felt unfair to have it up there forever. Bob Shand. Oh, hello there. Yeah, how you doing? Go on, it's time to let's go and have a look. Let's go and have a look. I should know what games you did. Wikipedia. Oh, South African International Rugby. Yeah, that's a bit of something else. Let's put the net Yaroze in. And I assume that it's Robert Shand. Decaying Orbit. Ah. ECTS guest list from 1999. Come on. Man. I crashed Diorama on Linux. Well done. So basically the ship got a handle like StarMade. If only I knew what StarMade was. I'm going to have to look into that in a minute. How's it going, Bob? What else have you been up to? Are you still coding? Are you still making games? Visit the official site. Oh yeah, 2004. Oh, that's cool. The story. Oh, that's about the story. That's not the background. That's cool. That is cool. The Edinburgh Yaroze meet. Oh, I didn't do that. Right, well, you'll have to fill me in, I'm afraid, Bob, because maybe. In fact, I'm surprised you actually found me. Yes, I still. I would very much like to resurrect some of my Yaroze games, and in fact, thinking about it, not that I've thought about it till now, Tiny Galaxy is going to be a bit like Mario in that each galaxy can be a completely different theme, different renderer, different rules, different stuff. So the idea of inserting some of the Net Yaroze stuff and having maybe a Net Yaroze galaxy would be kind of cool. We should give Rob famous prawn names. So you Google something. No. I'm just I swear I didn't know about that. I mean, not. I do care. I care loads. See it, unpause. What's Yaroze? It was dev kit for. Yeah, it was kind of homebrew for consoles. I shall put up a link. So it's what got me my first job after uni, because at university it so happened that my lecturer had some contacts with Sony and they were doing the Net Yaroze. So it's for PlayStation 1 time. And I was just seeing if anybody got mentioned. Nope. Grinner was Chris Chadwick. He's on Wikipedia. He beat me. Time Slip was re-released. Yep. I can't remember. I'll know the name. I've spoken to this guy as well. I bump into them every so often, like Bob Shand. Yes, we did. But it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool. So StarMade. Let me go and check out, because we were talking about the movement. I assume it's this one. There isn't. Is it going to move like that over 9 quadrillion galaxies? Slightly silly to do that. So I'm not saying it would be like that, but this is one of the aspects of having proper collision in, is that you can do these kind of things. Every kind of set of chunks can be their own system, effectively, for collisions with their own rotations or whatever. So, what was I looking at? So actually, in Tiny Galaxy, you go to a third-person camera. And actually, I think third-person cameras are very, very useful. You know, they help set the scale. Too much first-person stuff can tend to be a bit naff. So I would probably go for the Metal Gear Solid style, Metal Gear Solid style, where it's third-person and even a fixed camera. But there are certain times you can go to first-person mode. But it means first-person shooters, first-person cameras. First of all, I don't think they're necessary in a puzzle game. No longer making games. Immigrated to Canada in 2007. Now work for the Canadian government, helping forms from R&D. Most similarly, you think would be Innovate UK. I would definitely say. I mean, the question I tend to ask of people is: it doesn't matter what you do. Are you happy? I hope the answer is yes, and I hope. Do I owe you a fiver, feralbob? Is this why you're here? Like 20 years later, you go, Rob, you still owe me that fiver. Yeah. So I want to. Hello, Windybeard Games. Hello, how are you, Windybeard? Is your game out yet? And Keegan, hello there. Yeah. Sorry. So. One of the things about Tiny Galaxy, he says, I'm going to try and rerun it, is that the ship movement is actually very restricted. Could you at least make it an option to have forced FPP, first person perspective? Well, it depends, because I mean, kind of no in a way, because there are certain things you can do just relying on having a third person view, right? Like, for example, the fact that one of the puzzles involves hiding this door. It's not hidden, it's just that you don't see it. So, and there are some cases where a first-person camera is inappropriate, or it doesn't show you the things that you need. So one of the things about game design is obviously leading and signaling and, you know, getting the viewer to have all the information available. They just need to find or hunt it, as opposed to them being really awkward because somebody in first person mode can see it and can't in third person. Both of those. Yeah, so I mean, I think it should be available, but I'm not closed-minded. Whoa, yeah, I forgot to change that. I haven't got a fixed idea on it, other than I do want some third person in there, and it probably will remain on the ship aspect, right? So your ship here should rotate, but notice, obviously, even though you're in space and you could technically go anywhere, I actually don't want to. I think players are okay with kind of arbitrary rules that you just accept, such as you only move on the XY plane, right? So you don't move up into the screen. So your little ship will rotate, and it'll have a docking point at the side or at the front. And unlike Tiny Galaxy, here I can dock on any of these four sides, right? But actually, I want it to have I want the ship to have a docking port, and you can only dock where one of these tiny little worlds has an appropriate matching docking point. All right, because then I can. It's a reasonable simile to real life docking ports, and it allows you to control players in a way that won't be confusing to them. That's actually kind of good. Well, I think there's a lot to be said from first person point of view, because like seeing the lay of the land, seeing these, I really should stop the light, just keep changing, because it's slightly off-putting. Oh man, extrusions were ace, weren't they? But I didn't have extrusions on the movable chunks because I was not. I can't remember why, actually. Just can't remember. Oh yeah, look at all that. Look at all them extrusions. Yeah, designated entry points. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like in these, this would probably have 4, 1 on each side. That's fine. But the construction of puzzles may well be based around having only so many entry points. Or you could even start doing things where the docking points turn on or off. You know, the point is every aspect of the game that is a rule or a constraint should then have puzzles based around it, so that no pertinent information for playing the game ever gets lost. It'd be a bit like, you know, a game having a jump button, but there's nothing of value to jump over, right? Why would you do that? And a lot of games actually have it. And Ocarina of Time was an interesting aspect there, because when they were developing Ocarina of Time, what were they also developing? What was the other game they were developing? Oh, Mario 64, of course. And Miyamoto said they were discussing having a jump in Zelda, but at the time they said, well, the control scheme would end up being too similar to Mario 64. So as a differentiator and to reinforce that it was less about platforming and actioning, they took out the jump button. They took out the ability to jump, and it became automatic once you went off an edge. Now, what was interesting about that was nobody really noticed it was missing, right? Because the game was designed around it and it just felt fine. But they also used it to solve puzzles, because you could get items that would allow you to walk on air off of edges and stuff. So that's an example where, like, I think it's well worth questioning every kind of gameplay element. Now, sure, you don't want to remove things like the ability to move, but the ability to jump, you would take it for granted. But that's an extra button, right? I don't want to use all 10 buttons on a controller, so sod that. I'm good, mate. I did release a game in November. New one on the way. How are you? I'm mostly fine. I'm getting fitter. I'm still heavy. How long will this stream be? How long is a piece of string? Well, it's as long as it needs to be before it gets really boring. So same answer, really. I don't know. It's 8:35. Another couple of hours. Feralbob, very happy. Just happy to be watching. You can keep the fivers and I'll maybe subscribe. Don't threaten me with your subscription and then your undue expectations and your feeling of entitlement. Curses. All right. Slightly ungrateful response there. Yeah, the platforming in Ocarina was still an important component, very interesting with the auto jump. Well, it was actually, if you think about it, it was quite a big deal, because it's like you can't jump, but then you realise, actually, why is it a big deal? And the funny thing is, right, is that in a lot of games we have jump, but we also have, you know, invisible barriers, right? So the jump giveth, and then the invisible barriers taketh away, because why the hell can't I jump over this rock? Oh, it's because I'm not allowed to go there. Far easier if you just say, oh, well, you just can't jump. Monster Hunter kind of does or used to do a similar thing in that you couldn't really jump. Am I right in that? Yeah, I mean, some of the weapons give you the ability to jump. So if you hit a rough edge of the wall, you're like, oh, okay, fine. Yep, and 64 Zelda was one of the most amazing parts of my childhood. Yeah, mine too. I don't remember the second half of the game from playing it when I was a kid. I know I must have done, because I got to Ganon. I completed it. Hell yeah. And anyway, so where was I? Yeah, so I want to put... So that would probably should be an early goal, right? So if I think about a feature, what do I need to get to the feature? And the feature would be having a ship that you would rotate and move around. And maybe it's like here I've got northeast, southwest movement, but maybe it would be one of those rotating kind of polar star coordinate stuff where... where you rotate on the spot and then move forward and back. And I don't really know. But I do want to allow you to kind of... If it was circular, then I want it to collide against the circular shell. So then we would move to bullet. Bullet would be required for that. I'd need to sort out my multiple chunks thing a bit better, my multiple models. But it would be a great little thing if I could rotate the... I'm pointing at the screen, which is pointless because you can't see it. I'm a product. What am I looking at? Tombo Fryer. Imagine your average piece of string is probably less than a meter. Oh, absolutely. What does that mean? I'm a product. What? I don't think I'm a product. Let's have a look. Just got mail. All my college professors are sick. Free on a Monday. Excellent. No, not a chest high wall. No, exactly. Yeah. Amazon exploiting people. You're subbing to me. And it redirected to that link. Really? Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, people have subbed already. Yeah, you're trying to sub. You're trying to give me money, but I understand it's a bit complicated. So, so Windybeard Games, tell us about your game. Because that was the... was it Arkanoid-like? And you had nice graphics and stuff. And... yeah, Windybeard, tell us your game. Come on, give us a link. Let's look over that. Because I kind of miss... I don't like using the word community because community for me, for some reason, I associate with idiots. Is the blank way of putting it. Like the idea, the word community to me is an organic thing. People like hanging out with people. It's organic. And most of the kind of computer conferences and games conferences and what I read online is from the monetization or the commercial aspects of a community, and I find it a bit annoying. And it's partly because I'm lazy and I don't really, there's many ways you can put effort into making a game successful. Finishing it is one of them. Note to me there, but the other one is that. But the problem is that I don't want to be that sort of person that then worries about how to engineer a community out of nothing, right? It's just not me, and I don't think it's necessary. I do think it's probably a good idea, right? And this isn't about like going the other way and saying screw the community, we don't care about you. I hope you'll, I hope your browsers break, whatever that means. It's just that it's not something I want to invest my time in. I'd rather not try hard to be somebody I'm not and be me. And if you don't like me, fine, just join everyone else. Sadness over. And what am I trying to say? I don't know. Waffle. Yeah, so I don't like the word community, and so when we talk about the Twitch game dev community, I say it slightly through gritted teeth. But if you were being smart, and I do advocate people are smart, a community is something you should devote some amount of time to, depending on the product, more or less. But actually, I will end up favouring the too little because I just don't enjoy it. Thank you for the subscription. And you have to subscribe again tomorrow if I stream as well. Yeah, don't like me, just buy my game. Yes, I am a mass murderer of worms or something, but buy my game anyway. I'll buy more worms with them. Yeah, spot on. Good man. I don't know what you're going to say next, Windybeard Games, but you've agreed with me. You must be a very wise man. I think if you work hard and make good stuff, people enjoy it rather than trying to orchestrate some kind of false personas for people. But yeah, it's interesting because I mean, like at Creative Assembly, my girlfriend works at Creative Assembly. In fact, Jodie's doing a talk at GDC. So if any of you are going to GDC, you can see her from a distance. And I'm way too cheap to pay for a sub, so you'll have to wait for my Prime sub next month. Well, or you tell me who you subbed to, and I'll go and arm wrestle them, unless they're bigger than me or scary, or have a gun, an American, and I'll get that money straight out of their fist. Yeah, so I'm not going to GDC, so I'll have a week on my own where I will eat takeaway every night and probably have a heart attack before she comes back. Yeah, that's done. Dreamstone, come on, let's go and have a look. Where am I? Dreamstones. All right. I remember this. Oh, why does this never... Do you know what, Windybeard? Instead of me rambling, I should be asking you questions, right? Because one of the things I like about the stream is trying to impart wisdom and knowledge. And for that, I need other people with wisdom and knowledge, right? So tell us about things. So how did the release go? And what have you done leading up to the release? What have you done subsequent? Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'm hoping it says it's positive. All right. Whoa, what's this? Oh, man, you've got other games. Oh, all right, let's go and have a look. Sweezy Gunner. We've got Geo and